Alrighty, so we're looking to have no interruptions on this show, just, you know, a little containment spell, nothing major. I'm not saying that's anyone particular, but let's enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, Mad Dog Marty Sugar here for another episode of Thursday Night Throwdown. Thanks for tuning in last week for our primer for Winner Takes All. We'll show some highlights there. If you didn't catch all the winners and the losers, we'll throw some stat tip here on the screen later on in the show. But as for right now, let's get to it. Alrighty, first match was the Fatal 4-Way, the 4-Way dance, whatever you want to call it. Now, we've got live video of Koj. We got 3 judges this week. Each one of us gets 20% of the vote. Your fan votes count for 40%. Put it all together and see what's what. Now, I think we've got the best statistical thing we've got now. I think that's how it's going to work. But we're still fixing it as we go, okay? Casey Andrews and myself will go through the notes. Here's Koj's discussion of the 4-Way right now.
I guess if you don't know me by now, I'm Koj. I was invited on by Mad Dog Marty Sugar to be a guest judge this week again. So I'm just going to dive right in. Casey Peak. Well, I really liked how aggressive you were this time. You're getting more aggressive all the time, and it's showing your confidence. That's really nice to see. Unfortunately, you didn't really put much of a divide. You acknowledged everyone, but there wasn't much of a divide between everyone. And so if you're going to go that route with individual acknowledgement, it should have a bit more structure to it. Also, if you're going to do edits, they got to be really good. I mean, don't just throw emojis in for the sake of having an edit. So, but off aggressiveness alone, I gave you a 7.
So Casey Andrews thought Casey Peak. He says here, where's the energy this week? Change up the camera angle, please. Burst is not a word, the word is versus in wrestling, but he's really picky. He's suggesting the emojis aren't necessary and that you rambled too much. Says you gave pretty much everyone the same props, no catchphrase at the end, which I noticed too, you missed that, so something to think about. He gave you a 4, which is yikes. Casey, I said you could quickly become a consistent promo, but I do agree this one was kind of rambling. You don't need to go into detail on every guy, tighten him up, and then we're really going to score some points. Okay, bud?
Destro, I don't know what to say here, bud. For all intents and purposes, it felt lazy. It's not your strongest work. It's nowhere near what you're capable of. Sorry, bud. 4.
Casey Andrews says that Dez had a smooth and confident delivery. People need to stop referencing the promoter. He kept it short and sweet. Scored it a 7. Wrestling promos should be short and sweet. You shouldn't be talking for 2-3 minutes at a time. In reality, in the old days of local television, you cut your 60-second promo, you got in, you got out, you got it done, because you had to line up 10, 20, 30 promos in a day back to back, and you're not sitting there for an hour and a half cutting 3-4 minute promos for every small town when you're going around the horn. And that's why we have the promos that we have. That's how wrestling has evolved the way that it has. Dez, as far as myself, I said simple, catchy, and confident. I feel, though, you focused on Jordy, forgot about Casey and Justin, and that kind of... This is the opposite of Casey Peak, where you talk too much. You talk too little about your opponents. Focus on all of them, focus on none of them. You pick one out of the crowd, it just completely belittles the other 2. I scored it a 7.
Jordy Taylor. Well, what can we say about Jordy Taylor? Everybody knows this guy is a force to be reckoned with. He did the challenge of service. You know, he enters a promo competition, and he fights like he's in a promo competition. He always does a stellar job, and this one was absolutely on par with the rest of his tremendous work. So, well done, Jordy. 9.
Jordy Taylor, Casey Andrews said he was smooth as usual. The laugh is unsettling, but Casey digs it. Says you're a hell of a talker, Jordy. Some of the delivery runs together a bit, though. It works, but he says there's some gold coming out of the machine gun, and sometimes it gets lost. He did get chills, though, when you said, do you feel your words? I like that line, too. Casey went crazy for the bed of belts and said, thanks for not spitting on us this time. 9 out of 10, and says this guy should have a contract somewhere. And that I agree. The fact that Jordy has not been signed is location Just like buying a house. Location, location, location. Jordy, I gave you an 8.5, so you're hitting on all cylinders, and you've got the hardware to back it up. What the hell do I know that's going to teach you how to be a better promo? I mean, aside from being a better promo than you.
The entertainment provider, Justin Sider. This was probably one of your best performances to date. Truly. But unfortunately, the infomercial approach sells products, but it doesn't win titles. And just like Coco Beware and the Talking Bird bit from the last show, funny doesn't win. Sorry, dog. 5.
Justin Sider. Casey said you were very funny, you had a great concept, but should have been more shaken up by your loss. It was time to maybe get serious, and it just needed that something more. Maybe this was not the time to be funny. He gave you a 7. Justin, I gave you a similar idea. I felt in reality this was the best promo of the week and was brilliant. But there was no reference to the crushing loss to Sky, no reference really to your opponents, and this one didn't fit this week. Save that bullet in your chamber for another time. Perfect promo, wrong day.
And if you take a look at the scoring, fans, you can see that while Jordy Taylor dominated amongst the judges, it was the family once again that gave Justin Sider a monster victory. Congratulations.
Space is limited, so call now. 1-800-FAMILY. Or visit us online. www.iHeartCider. And follow Justin Sider on his quest to become the 2-time Internet champion.
All right, match number 2, Johnny Dean and Mr. Money Mark in the round 2 of the Jibber Jabber Cup. Let's hear from Koj.
Johnny Dean versus Mr. Money Mark. Mr. Money Mark. I gotta tell you, the used car salesman approach is starting to grow on me. It's not half bad. But paying more attention to some random than focusing on the match at hand, it's not okay. I've said that before. So, I mean, you got a cool tie though, and for that, I'll give you a 6.
Now, we did that quick because Koj was brutal on Johnny Dean. That was rough, rough, rough. As far as Casey and I, Casey Andrews gave you a 6. Johnny, last week he was a character. This week he was just some guy, talked a lot, didn't say much. Delivery was good. I said you had solid delivery, had some fun jabs, but let's establish the Johnny Dean character with a consistent look and attitude. 6 as well. Mr. Money Mark, Casey Andrews said again, could have used another take. He likes the gimmick, the delivery is always confident, and he likes that. Casey just says you need a little more planning and to remember we're working toward a fight. Now what I see here, Mr. Money Mark, is you're always confident. This character is quickly coming together. I can buy Mr. Money Mark as an old school indie manager. He's one of those guys you see on cable TV and you can't stand him. Or you love him because he's throwing out 5s to everybody in the crowd. But I can see you managing someone in like Memphis or Louisville or somewhere, Portland. I will say I'm unsure if the Delta Dawn reference fits the overall scheme. While she is a wrestling legend and it's kind of nice to throw that you've got those friends in your pocket, not every wrestling fan in 2020 is going to grasp what Delta Dawn brings to the table. And that's just the unfortunate of the fact that we got a lot of young fans that just don't know the rich history of the Pacific Northwest.
Despite Koj's stiff scoring for Johnny Dean, it's the fans that helped pull this out 6 to 4.8. However, in reality, 19 of the 30 fan voters chose this one a draw.
Match number 3, Devil's Advocate and Dylan Murphy. Let's hear from Koj first.
Devil's Advocate versus Dylan Murphy. This one, by far, best match of the week. Absolutely. Devil's Advocate. Man. Well done. He paid Zilla the respect that he deserved quickly and efficiently, and he recognized and adhered to what he had learned going into this round. It was way above what I expected. Really blew everyone else out of the water for the most part. And I got to tell you, it was my favorite promo of the week. So, well done, man. For the first time, I'm giving someone a 10.
Casey Andrews hates selfie cam, so I mean, that was a given. He was going to mention that. He said he didn't understand the gimmick or the delivery. He says it's good, it's smooth, but it doesn't match your appearance. He said it wasn't terrible. Suggested watching references to other products. Not everyone knows what you're talking about. And I agree, both Devil's Advocate and Dylan got caught mentioning M-Pro, and it's great that you have a rivalry and you have a legacy there, the both of you. It's not always going to translate over to the Big West crowd. Not everybody knows. It's a niche market, just like Big West is a niche market. As far as you Advocate, big comeback promo this week, acknowledging the loss, but desperately struggling to convince yourself that losing to Zilla was okay last week. I liked your fire. Gave you a 7.
Dylan Murphy. Now this cat, he is clearly a fierce challenger and an experienced competitor. He was direct, he was precise, and all of his edits were focused. Like, he knew what he was going for. So, well done. Terrific job. I gave Dylan a 9. Well done, boys.
Dylan Murphy, Casey Andrews said, start-stop delivery needs a little work. You've got good intensity. He found it funny, though, that someone with peach fuzz is calling someone else kid. Neither one of you has good facial hair. Just saying. Dylan, I said, I gave you a 7. As well, confident and delivery is close to finding its stride. You are getting there. Just need a little fine-tuning, brother. Both of you, I said, made those references to M-Pro. They don't always work. Let's focus on establishing Dylan Murphy and Devil's Advocate and Johnny Dean here in Big West.
The fan vote really did Dylan Murphy in this week as Devil's Advocate crushed it, making this match look more of a blowout than it actually was. A really great battle between these two.
Have a good day. Do not stray.
Mean Machine versus Zilla. Mean Machine. It was predictably average for what you get from a Mean Machine promo. No more, no less. 5. Zilla! As always, Zilla went in there and crushed it. It was a great promo. He was on point, and he did a really good job with making his edits all Zilla-esque, you know? Which is funny because Marty breaks our balls about me doing the editing, so there you go. Great job, brother. 8.5.
Now, I should dock Kojay's points because obviously he's got favoritism in this one, but it's not like his criticisms were off the mark. Casey Andrews said that Mean Machine Sr. sounds like Dauber from Coach. I don't even remember that reference. I guess Patrick from SpongeBob you younger people might get that instead. Same guy. Said that Mean Machine had good intensity. Nope, he did not. Asked, who is this silver-tongued devil, the Mean Machine? He's short and sweet. He's an Okanagan legend. Gave him a 6.5 out of 10. I said that the outtakes made it better. The edited version was cute, but tame. 5 out of 10. You can do better, old man. Prove it. Zilla. And you got the huge score from your buddy. And we'll let it slide this week, but we'll see. If favoritism is going to continue, we may have to deal with this. Casey Andrews says, please, God, turn on some lights. Good energy, but slow down. Swearing for the sake of swearing is whatever. He gave you a 6. I gave you, Zilla, a 6 as well. I said Big West is family friendly and censored swearing is still swearing in the eyes of parents and a promoter and maybe a guy who's both. Great delivery and confidence, but still too dang dark. Don't you have one of those trouble lights in your garage hanging up on the ceiling so we can at least see part of your ugly mug? Please and thank you.
Fan voting helped Zilla with another dominant victory once again 2 weeks in a row. Biggest win of the week. Congratulations, dude. Fans, I told you we were going to take a break and talk about winner takes all on August 15th in Summerland. Now, Todd Quality and Lance Skulls were both absent. Lance Skulls has been battling some health issues. He's been in and out of the hospital. We wish him well. Todd Quality had to stay home because he was suffering flu-like symptoms. Good news, fans, no coronavirus. Bad news, an undetected kidney infection that has left him laid up for a while, but he's in a lot of pain. He is going to be taking an extended break from Big West, but we want them both back as soon as possible because I know several people, myself included, who want to smack them both in the face. Meanwhile, some fines were handed out on August 15th. Sebastian Wolf not only manhandled our ringside photographer Rob McLeod, but also put his hands on referee Handsome Pete and twice tried to intimidate him and chase him off the property. He received a substantial fine for that. And now let's not forget Ace Redmond Jr. He threw a chair at the start of the tournament finale against Jordie Taylor. And as you can see here, he threw one again at Justin Sider and assaulted Zilla, putting the fans in danger. He has been suspended for our show on September the 26th.
Main event time. Koj?
Title match. Sleazy Steve and Sky. Sleazy Steve came in hot. And he's getting better and stronger every week. Anybody who fails to recognize where Sleazy Steve is going to end up is destined to suffer a fate worse than Sky's inevitable fall from grace. Hell of a job, Sleazy Steve. 9.
Here we go, the challenger, Sleazy Steve. Casey Andrews said you had good fire, same old content, likes your confidence, and he's glad it looks like you were ready to fight. 7.5 out of 10. Steve, I said you had good pacing and I liked the tie into the live show on Saturday, and asking where the heck was the champ? Right? Big West, you should have been there, right? I liked how you fought through the pain of your recent assault to deliver an intense promo like a champion does. 9 out of 10.
Sky, the problem with having such an extravagant gimmick, trust me, I know, it's that it gets stale really quickly. So it's a constant fight for survival in terms of popularity. And so I don't know if this was an off night. I don't know if this is the beginning of the end already. But what I do know is that it was really meh. 5.
Sky, Casey Andrews said this one was breathy. What you said was good, just some odd pacing. Creepy, par for the course. It just kind of... Casey says it fell a little flat compared to what we've seen. He gave you a 7 and said, please don't haunt me. And of course, I've got you contained, so I'll say whatever I want. Sky gave you an 8.5, and I said now the chase is over, sometimes the thrill is gone, but Sky delivered in her first title defense, direct, to the point, and while less creepy than normal, there's a new intensity surfacing that shows you're not playing around and you don't plan on being a transitional champion, but still I thought Steve beat you. Let's get to the final scores.
Fan voting was the deciding factor yet again as the fans drove Sky to her first title defense. Congratulations, young lady. Fans, do not forget our next live event in Summerland, September the 26th. Live, Laugh, Lariat as Camaro Cope gets his guaranteed title shot against the new champion and the 2020 Okanagan Cup winner, Jordie Taylor, the OG. What was that? Where the hell did she go?
I am so scared.